Hello there. I'm Trevor Langley, and I have an idea. I'm from RPI, BT Dubs. Alright, so clearly we have many issues facing this planet in this day and age. Not all of them can be solved easily, but my idea can solve at least one of them. So, overpopulation. It's a bitch. It's not good. It's one of the most underrated situations, but it's true. We have over almost 7 billion people on our planet now, and studies have shown that according to topsoil, depletion rates, we should have only a maximum of 1 billion people on the planet in order to live in equilibrium with nature. So, how do we solve this? Well, genocides, they could work, but no. That's a no-no. Then we got the machines that could be 100% efficient. Idealistic. They just simply don't exist. So, what can we do that is logical and plausible? Well, and humane. Forgot that one. Need humanity. Humane people. Where would we be without our morals? So, here's what we do. Terraform. And you're gonna think that I'm crazy. Because I think I'm crazy. But, here's what happens. So, we have Mars, right? Mars is like Jod. Tiny.
We can't, it's too close.
Alright, whatever. So, the Mars, relative to Earth, I think Mars is about 1/10 of the mass of Earth, right? But that doesn't necessarily mean that they need 10 times more of the amount of mass in order to sustain a livable, breathable atmosphere. Because Earth, actually, our mass is in excess to what is necessary for the minimum requirements for an atmosphere that you can live with. And Mars, research has shown that it is very, very probable that they have had life on that planet for about a couple billion years. So they clearly had an atmosphere at one point. Which means that although the mass is tiny compared to Earth's, it's not that far off from what it needs to be to sustain this atmosphere.
3 minutes.
Was that?
3 minutes.
Alright, damn. Let's keep going. So, what we do, we pile drive it with moons that it has in orbit. They're asteroids that came from the asteroid belt. They came into Mars' orbit. We're going to hit them with nuclear missiles. Of course, at proper trajectories and whatnot. They spiral in using the classic physics, and hit them ideally on opposite sides of the moon, or not moon, rather, Mars, so that Mars does not shake off of its course of trajectory around the sun, so we don't mess anything up too bad in our solar system. That would be bad. Additionally, of course, we'd have to test if this new mass on Mars would be able to sustain an atmosphere. So maybe just throw a little bit of gas into it, see if it can hold it. Next, if it's not enough, which I really hope not, but if it's not enough, we might have to just nuke the moon. The moon is already going out of orbit, gradually. It is gradually, but it is definitely spiraling out of orbit. So, if we just give it those nudges, aka nuclear missiles, just knock it on its way to Mars, using multiple. We have so many nuclear missiles right now, and we can use them in a positive, constructive manner rather than killing ourselves with them. So, use them on the moon, get them out of our orbit, and preferably into Mars's, eventually spiral into it and create additional mass. If we add the mass of the moon, it increases about 10% to Mars's initial mass. That would definitely be more than enough in order for them to create a livable, breathable atmosphere.
5 minutes.
Damn it. So, now that we have the mass needed to hold an atmosphere, you need to get the atmosphere. Where do you get the atmosphere from? Not Earth, because we need ours. Let's be honest here. So, what planet has a shit ton of atmosphere in it that it doesn't need? Venus. Venus's atmosphere is one of the most toxic and dense atmospheres that we've ever seen. So, you grab, it's I think roughly also 90% CO2. So you grab most of that atmosphere, maybe not most of it, but using droids that have vacuums within them, due to the ideal gas laws, we know that gases will naturally go in to fill these vacuums completely and uniformly. So you get as much gas as you possibly can using these droids. Transport it over to Mars, and then eject the gas there, return back to Venus, repeat the process. Eventually, you're going to get Venus down to a more livable, we're not entirely sure if it would actually bring it down to a non-toxic state, but it's possible. And meanwhile, we're building up Mars's atmosphere. Now, still a lot of CO2, though, that would be in this atmosphere. It's going to be close to 90% again, which is a problem. So you need to find ways to get nitrogen and oxygen. The easiest way to do this is to first import plants into Mars. Assuming, of course, that we get a proper temperature range for it, you could conceivably transport plants from Earth over to Mars. Maybe not plant them, but get them in the process of converting the CO2 into oxygen. That way, by the time we actually bring animals and fucking cellular respiratory creatures onto the planet, they'll already have enough oxygen to sustain them. And nitrogen we can also probably pull out of our ass from somewhere. So,
7:30.
that is the game plan. Go team.
That's it?
That's it.